What's your number one cause of stress? Well, most people would say money because money is studied as the number one cause of stress, whether you have a little of it or a lot of it. Most people are striving to get more. And that's what we're going to talk about here on the Financial Therapy Challenge podcast. So I'm so glad you're here because it's still Mental Health Awareness Month. We're going to kind of intersect two of my favorite topics, mental health and money, because stress and mental health, like there is no health if there's stress. If your mental is all about stress, then there is no health involved. You're going towards illness. And I don't mean illness like you might have being diagnosed with schizophrenia or bipolar, which you could if you don't take care of that stress and the trauma that you have in your life. But if you aware, right? If you're aware, then you can get on top of it. But let's talk a little bit about Mental Health Awareness Month and money. I am your host, Kanae Corder, National Certified Counselor specializing in financial therapy. I speak to and consult with business owners who want to make money while making a difference in the lives of others. But let's talk about that. What are some of the emotions you feel striving to get to that next level of success? Because that striving is associated with your stress. When you're striving too much, you're stressing too much. And at Presidential Lifestyle, one of the places that we put a lot of focus is mental. So our self-sync financial therapy program focuses on physical, like the doing stuff. It focuses on the mental, like your thinking, your way of thinking. It focuses on the emotions, like your way of feeling about getting this money or this relationship with money. And it does touch on the spiritual, which we might be doing a little bit more of, but that spiritual is the energy, which a lot of people will tell you money is energy, much like every other thing is energy. But because we're specifically talking about money, money is energy. And you'll need to know how to use that energy for your benefit. But a lot of times we don't. But if we're honest, we don't really know what we control. My number one course is called Control the Controllable. And what you find very early in Control the Controllable is that you really don't control people. You don't control the past and you don't control the future. You control right now. And right now, you could be stressed. But this is the only time zone that you can be in to handle that stress. You can't handle past stress. You can't handle future stress. The only stress you have any control over is this stress happening in this moment. And you decide what you want to do next. Now, for some people, they might have a meditation practice. They may have healthy practices to get them out of the stress, while others have unhealthy practices to get them out of the stress. And how we differentiate what's healthy from what's not healthy is what adds value to your life. So if it adds value to your life, it would be considered healthy. But if you go too far with it, which is anything, if you go too far with it and it now starts to take away from the value of your life, then it's no longer healthy. And that is a really simple definition that you can use when trying to gain awareness over your own habits. Because I know people, and I was one of those people who used to work out twice a day because that was like my outlet, that was my stress reliever. And and I was a little obsessed with image, and like I wanted to have like the perfectly sculpted body, but then that kind of went out the window. I was like, yeah, I ain't doing that. So, but you can get, look, what started out as healthy shifted to unhealthy. But that striver mentality, when you have to be the best, when you have to be on the top, when you have to get all the getting and the doing, that striver mentality drives you to turn something healthy into something unhealthy, or something that would not necessarily be considered healthy, but just let's say harmless. to something that becomes harmful because you're in that striver mode and all you can think about is get more and more and more. But that's not healthy. Even when it relates to money, get more money, more and more and more. When the focus is on the money, you wear yourself out, you burn yourself out. But can I just tell you that money matters? I am not here to tell you that it doesn't. I believe you should be wealthy beyond measure. Like you should just have all the wealth that is possible for you because I believe that wealth is the amount of money you make, but I also believe it is your health. It is the fun and adventure in your life. It's the love in your life. It's the legacy that you leave, like the significance that you are putting in the world, the impact. All of that is wealth. And I believe you should have all of it to the measure in which you believe, right? Because presidential lifestyle is yours. You define what the presidential lifestyle is. We don't define that. We have our version. And when I say we, I mean I, and everybody on the team has their own version of what their presidential lifestyle is. But while I'm talking about that, I do want to mention that if you were wondering how to connect, you can follow me here. You can follow me here or subscribe. You can also go to www.presidentiallifestyle.com and you'll get directions on what to do next. The reason why I'm not telling you what to do next is because it changes. Sometimes you go to our website and you can book a session with me, but that's not always available. Sometimes you go to our website, we might have a webinar happening. Sometimes you go to our website and we have a course releasing, which is what's happening right now, but I don't know when you're going to click that link. So I don't want to tell you what to do when you get there because it could change, but you should definitely go because there's also a link in the description of this video that will take you to the latest and greatest at Presidential Lifestyle. So I asked you, what are some of the emotions you feel striving to get to the top? Now they say it's lonely at the top. I don't really agree with that. There's some really awesome, cool people at the top. Sometimes it is because you didn't take really cool, awesome people with you. You took the takers. And let me tell you, when you are striving, the takers can smell it. They can smell it and they ride your coattail right up to the top. And then they're like, now that you got it, can I get some? Can I borrow? Can you lend me? Yeah. And you, being the kind, sweet person you are, you're generous, you give until you have no more. Anyway, that was a really sad and grim story. That doesn't always happen that way. It could also happen another way, which is you bring really cool, awesome people with you to the top. They have things that they're good at. You have things you're good at, and it doesn't have to be lonely, whether that's family, team members, and friends, whatever it is. It also, you can have a tribe of people. You can get in a mastermind or a group that gives you an outlet where you feel like these are people who know what you're going through. Some of them going through the same things you are, but all of them not necessarily, but some of them gone through things that you haven't gone through yet, and you can learn from them. But you could also have a community that you pour into, and it won't feel so lonely at the top when you do that. So loneliness is just one of the emotions. It actually is the emotion that I see the most, especially in my strivers, feeling really lonely, because when you're trying to go fast, a lot of times you have to go alone. Most people can't keep up with your pace. Trust me, I had that pace. And it is really, really tough to find people who can keep up the same pace. And the people who are at the same pace you are on another path. They have things that are important to them. So you guys are not going to go together because they're on their path. You're on your path. Sometimes those paths will cross. When it does, you enjoy it, but it just doesn't happen that often. So the loneliness can kick in. A couple other emotions that come up, especially with the stress involved, would be anxiety. That when you're striving for success, there's this anxiety that comes up because you're not there yet. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? There's also some anxiety about maybe there was something you did wrong, like you didn't take the right turn, or whatever, you didn't do something right. So maybe you're not going to get there because you didn't do something right. And, Eminem says in the song 8 Mile, like, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Ooh, That is not true. And I love that song. But it's not true that opportunity comes once in a lifetime. But sometimes we feel that way. And so our anxiety takes over because we're like, oh no, I missed my shot. And guess what? You can get another shot. Not the same shot. Let's be clear on that. You might miss the current opportunity, but you have another opportunity coming. And if you don't believe you have another opportunity coming, then you may have some doubt, another emotion. And doubt, come on. Now, my strivers don't always have a lot of doubt. A lot of my strivers are pretty confident, especially my men strivers. Now, sometimes my women strivers can be very doubtful. That self doubt kicks in, and you're listening to all those other voices out there instead of yours because you've been told that that voice in your head is you. That's self talk. That's not self talk. What can I? What do you mean that's not self talk? That's what everybody is saying. You know, I have got to divulge the myths. You know, I am going to blow your mind. That is not self-talk. Those messages did not come from you. They came from outside of you. You just adopted them. So stop calling it negative self-talk because it's not. You're not thinking that. You're not saying that. You are the person who said, you know what I could do? I could do so and so and so and so. And then that voice came in, right? You were like, I know what I could do. And then the voice came in. That first voice, that was you. That was your true, authentic self. And my job as your financial therapist is to get you to be in your true, authentic self most of the time. Now, will the imposter come up? Will you hear those negative talk voices? Yes, you will. But you can move out of there very quickly. And I'll give you tools. When you jump into the financial therapy challenge, so most of the people who come into our world, they come in by taking the financial therapy, the power of financial therapy course. And it is a really easy course to finish. It gives you an idea of what financial therapy is. It tells you what financial therapy is not, but most importantly, it tells you specifically what our version of financial therapy, self-sync financial therapy is, why it is so powerful, how we go into how we use brain-based therapy, hypnotherapy specifically, and how that brain-based neuroscience really taps into using the brain the way it already works rather than trying to force it or will it to do something, because willpower will fail you every time. And why power is what will fuel you. And if you don't have why power, I can help you get it. You have a why, you just aren't aware of it because you're focused on the money, 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 money. You're just focused on the money. But as a striver, you don't know that there's another way. But my work, my job, my obligation to you is to show you how the why, and I know that's kind of a trendy term, but let's call it meaning because that's what we call it in our program. It's money and then there's meaning, and you need a little bit of both, right? Okay, let's face it, a lot of both. I'm with you. But let's talk about this last emotion. And then if you want to know more about the power of financial therapy, I will tell you guilt. That is one that comes up a lot. It's like guilt and shame. Those two come up a lot when it comes to, for some, especially with my women, is like if you are working in your business, but not paying a lot of attention to your family and having to like figure out how to do both of those. I've gone through this myself where you put so much attention to your business, if you're leaning in to something, you're leaning away from something. That's just physics. You can't lean into two things at the same time. So if you're leaning into family, you're probably leaning away from work. If you're leaning into work, you're probably leaning away from family, and finding a way to juggle, or we like to say find harmony. And that would mean that you might be putting 70% towards work and 30% towards family at one point, but maybe on a different day, you put 70% towards family and 30% towards work. Or maybe for you, it's you break up your week. You're like, you know what? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all work, no play. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all play, no work. You design it. You decide what you want it to be. Some people will say, I work every day, but only for 4 hours. And then the rest of the time is all mine. So you decide what you want this life to be, especially if you are a business owner. Now, it's a little bit harder if you have a job, but it's possible because once you dominate in your area, you can decide and you can demand whatever you want once you're highly sought after. So that these are the emotions that I see the most. And what I like about our program, what Self Sync Financial Therapy can do for you is that it first makes you aware of all of these different emotions that you're feeling, because sometimes we just label them all stress, right? Oh, I'm stressed. But what if you were feeling guilt? What if you were feeling shame? What if you're feeling burnout? What if you're feeling anxiety? What if you're feeling loneliness? You would need to identify that particular emotion so that you can use the right tool to overcome it. And that's what you get in Self Sync Financial Therapy. So if you haven't already, like while you're listening to this video, because I know we can have 2 and 3 windows open up at the same time. Me, that's more like 72 windows open at the same time. But yeah. So you can go to presidentiallifestyle.com. And if you are going when this video is being released, then you're going to get an invitation to join the Power of Financial Therapy course. But that's not all. What happens when you join the Power of Financial Therapy course, you get to jump into a free self-sync financial therapy session. It comes with the course as a bonus. But once you sign up for the course, you get a free financial therapy session. So if you want to experience it for yourself, because it is our belief that the best way to see if it's right for you is to just experience it for yourself. Now, this offer is not one of those like, oh, forever offers, because who has those? Nobody. Even, the McRib goes away for only a limited time. I don't eat McRibs, but I'm just saying something. I just wanted to bring up something that everybody knows, the Shamrock Shake, right? Why analogies always McDonald's analogies? And I hardly ever eat McDonald's, but they are just such a good example. Yeah. Anyway, I digressed. Let's get back to you. What are you going to do? Are you going to click that link in the description? But you know what else I want you to do? I'd love for you to tell me, do you feel like you are striving to get to your next level of success? Just put yes or no. Now, if you want to go deeper and elaborate, go ahead. But I want you to tell me in the comments, yes or no. Do you feel like you are striving to get to your next level of financial success? If that is you, then you definitely want to take the Power of Financial Therapy course, because it's going to help you see that striving is not the only way to get to your next level of financial success. And it also will help you see that you can make money while making a difference in the lives of others. And if you don't see that right now, that is okay, because it is my job to help you see that, give you the glasses to help you carve out that path. I got you. So start with the course, get the free session, and then we'll guide you from there. You can decide how you want to move forward. But I always want you to come here. Every single week, I'm working to give you a new video. There's also the podcast. So if you miss this video, it typically goes onto the podcast. That doesn't really make sense because this stays in, well, you know how social media works. It doesn't come up in your feed, all of that stuff. So don't even worry about that. You can subscribe. So make sure it comes up in your feed. However, you can also subscribe to the podcast, which will make it come up into your feed, right? Because you can go to your podcast. And also, the other way is to jump into the course, because when you jump into the course, you have access to the free session. And then when you jump into the free session, you can ask questions. You can figure out how how to address what you're specifically going through right now and how to apply self-sync financial therapy to your specific situation. So that's all for now. I am so glad we got a chance to have this conversation. So, what are you going to do with the rest of your day? I don't know. I am going to do something really cool and interesting and fun because that's what I like to do. Fun. So, put in the comments yes or no. Do you feel like you're striving to get to the next level of financial success? And I'll see you next week.